Good evening. From the Dove Newsroom at this hour, I'm Demi DeSoto. The Oregon Department of Forestry is asking the public's help in identifying who may be responsible for starting yesterday's Gold Canyon fire. So it's very suspicious, and they'd like you to contact the office if you can at 541-471-3883. Firefighters are working hard to put out that fire line around the 120-acre Gold Canyon wildfire just south of Selma. It is 5% contained at this point, with 200 structures threatened. Residents nearby have been told to be ready to evacuate if needed, as air tankers and helicopters make the numerous drops on the fire. In Northern California, the Gap Fire is now just over 9,800 acres, with significant fire activity reported yesterday. Fires continue to spread toward Highway 96 and north of White Cloud Mountain. There are no evacuation orders at this point. The fire began last Saturday about 5 miles east of Said. As we look to the Cuban refugees and coming this way, more people want to go the other way to Cuba. And after more than 50 years, travel to the island of Cuba is open from the United States. JetBlue in Fort Lauderdale had the Chamber of Commerce ribbon cutting to officially launch the first commercial flight between the United States and Cuba in more than half a century. It'll go from Fort Lauderdale to the central city of Santa Clara in Cuba. The festivities at the airport were jubilant as the tourists, natives, and businesses are all excited at the opportunity to travel to the Caribbean island freely once again. Stacy Ritter of the Fort Lauderdale Convention Bureau describes the excitement of the local community.
Because you just cannot stop smiling from the fact that we actually are flying to Cuba for the first time in many of our lifetimes.
Service begins with the Santa Clara Cuba flight 3 times a week for only $99 a leg. October it increases to once daily, and in November the cities of Camagüey and Holguin will be added once daily as well. Additional flights from JFK in New York City and Orlando are starting as soon as well. Former Olympic champion Joe Jacoby went to an elementary school in Atlanta to personally thank and praise a young girl who found his gold medal in a pile of garbage weeks after it was stolen from his car. Chloe Smith returned the medal to Joe Jacoby, who won it in the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona in the men's canoe double slalom. Jacoby spoke to Chloe's class, the first grade class at Woodson Park Academy, and thanked her for her honesty and her effort.
I think that sometimes we don't give a 7-year-old child enough credit for the choices that they can make and the influence and the power of one choice can have on an entire community.
And it was very highly regarded. He was glad to have it back. Let's take a look at our regional weather forecast as we start heading down toward the back end of the week. And as we do, 51 overnight in Northern California. We'll see a high of 82 and 75 tomorrow in Klamath with some clouds, 68 on Friday. The Oregon coast, some fog tonight, clouds tomorrow, possible rain by Friday with highs of 65 on both Thursday and Friday, lows in the low 50s to mid 50s. For the Oregon coast, we'll see clear skies tonight with a low of 45, 72 with a few clouds. Tomorrow, 66 on Friday with a few clouds as well. Temperatures in the low 40s, and we'll see that over the next couple days heading into the weekend as well. For the Oregon, Central Oregon and Southern Oregon, we'll see 80 degrees on Thursday, 77 on Friday, and it should be great weather for the Dove Fest on Saturday. And that's a look at the latest news from the Dove Newsroom. Be sure to join us every weekday morning for Mornings on the Dove, starting at 6 a.m. on the Dove TV, KDove 91.7 FM, YouTube, and Roku.